What is up, guys? Even here with Rev Airsoft PH, and I have Adam with me.
Yeah.
Yan. Okay. So, disclaimer, this was bought by a friend, and he asked us to review this for him, right? I won't mention the name, but ito na. It's the Armament TTI John Wick 3. Or ano ba yung ano niya, no? Combat Master. Ayan. So, quick unboxing video since we don't have a lot of time for this unit. Okay. So, of course, you have your manual. Ayan, no? So, unlike the Pit Viper, it has the correct manual. And, of course, you have the unit itself and a magazine. Unfortunately, there are no other accessories in the box with this unit. So, quick overview. Let's go over the magazine. So, you have a standard Hi-Capa magazine with a TTI base plate. So, yung mga base plate na to, they're very, I think, sturdy, no? Because Ryan or Adam also has one, and he has dropped it multiple times. There are some dings and scratches on the mag, but it still functions well. So, a very good magazine, no? Especially that with the price, it's cheap then in comparison with other units, right? It's around 1.5 ba?
1.2. Around 1.2.
And 1,200 pesos depending on where you're gonna get it. And of course, you have the unit itself. So the unit itself is, of course, your standard Hi-Capa. So the front, let's start with the front and we'll go to the rear. So the front, you have your fiber optic front sight and a blacked out rear sight. Ayan. So I think we can get that to focus there. Ayan. Oh. So very, very good for target acquisition. And surprisingly enough, unlike my Pit Viper, it's relatively straight. Ayan. So good for this unit, right? So the slide also has serrations at the front, serrations at the back, and of course you have your outer barrel in maybe a bronze color, right? Ayan. So the outer barrel has markings on it. You have that 9x19, no? 9mm markings, right? None of that 6mm BS. And at front you also have your rail section for, again, mounting your flashlights, your lasers, maybe a small grenade launcher. So it depends on what your need is. So another thing to note here is the trademarks, right? So you have Combat Master and the TTI logo there, as well as on the top, and on the other side it says Taran Tactical Innovations. Ayan. So this unit, if I'm not mistaken, is licensed.
Yes, fully licensed by Jag Arms.
Yan. Kaya it has all the correct trademarks and it's a very nice looking unit. Let's talk about the hammer. So the hammer, unfortunately, unlike the premium, or is it premium? Premium Army armament units, which has steel internals, this has the alloy, or the standard version has the alloy or the pot metal internals. Well, they do last quite a fair bit, right? But you might want to upgrade that sometime in the future as well. And so you have your standard Hi-Capa or 2011 slide lock. It's not extended, right? It's just the standard deal. Okay, moving on to the grip itself. Ayan. The grip, as you can see, is stippled. Is it stippled, no? Yung ganitong texture.
I'm actually not so sure if it's stippled or machine press, but from the
looks of it, it looks stippled, no? It looks hand stippled kasi there are a lot of imperfections, yeah. But all that said, it's a nice grip to hold, and it won't slip. It's got really nice texture there. And again, it might be handmade or it might be machined, but it doesn't matter. It looks great, it feels great, and it's a lot better grip than most Hi-Capas out there. So yeah, of course you have the standard controls, right? So you have, again, the slide catch, you have the safety, you have the beaver tail, or the grip safety, right? So all standard 2011 or Hi-Capa features. What I do like about this is the extended
and enlarged
mag release.
Release. So also note, this is the mag release is also steel. So
Oh, that's a cool little feature right there, right? So the mag release for the people who have little hands like me. So see Adam, no, he has fairly large hands. He doesn't have any issues with not extended or standard mag releases. But for me, this is really a great thing, right? So I can press that easily. I have a standard Hi-Capa and I have to use, or I have to break my grip in order to just release that magazine. Okay, so next is the part of the grip is this undercut, right? So I think it doesn't have any texture at the front, but it does have that undercut here, and that helps you grip the replica fairly well, or a little bit better and a bit more comfortable. So next here in the controls is actually the trigger. So standard stuff. It's not an adjustable trigger, if I'm not mistaken, or is it? I think it's adjustable for maybe for the wall, right? That's something that I have to figure out. But there is a screw or a grub screw somewhere there, and I believe that is an adjustable trigger. So out of the box, fairly a good trigger, right? Good trigger feel. A bit of a slack there. No over travel whatsoever. Yeah, so it's a great trigger out of the box. And then lastly, on the bottom side you have that magwell. So I believe this is a TTI designed magwell, and for its purpose, right, it's a good looking magwell, and of course does its job very well. And one thing to note about the Army Armament Hi-Capas is they function well with WE magazines, KGW magazines, and even Tokyo Marui spec magazines. Okay, I don't have any gripes with this particular unit. So it's a relatively cheap unit, and not that cheap, right? But for the price, you're getting all of these features, and of course, that great grip. And one thing that I do want to note is just the outer barrel. For some reason, it is coated with some kind of plastic, and I believe you can maybe remove that, right? So yeah, you can remove that. Maybe it's there just to protect it from scratching it, but over time it will wear out, similar to what's happening here. So there's a plastic covering for the outer barrel. Okay, so maybe a few test shots. So again, this is just a short review. So slide lock works, right? So if we do fire the unit, yeah, a short but fairly stout firing unit. It's a great pistol to start with, especially if you're a fan of the John Wick series, right? But you could go for the more premium versions of the John Wick series with the steel internals, just to have that better longevity when it comes to the internal parts. So some caveats with the some things that we do want to note when it comes to the Army Armament Hi-Capas is, if you want a very accurate firing replica, right, you might want to upgrade the inner barrel, the hop-up chamber, and the
hop rubber.
Yeah, so those three things will definitely improve your accuracy and consistency with this unit. So I haven't had any problems with any Army Armament replicas we had, especially Hi-Capas, right? So they're performing consistently, they're doing very well, right? And that's our I think that's what we can note about the Army Armament Hi-Capas, right? It's priced good. With I might take it over AWE. How about you, Adam?
Definitely. Since Army Armament based their replicas on somewhat TM spec. So yeah, parts is readily available, and even local sellers here in the Philippines, you have them selling the internals, steel internals, for relatively inexpensive price. So if ever something goes wrong in the unit, you can replace it. And also, since It's somewhat TM spec, quote unquote. Some parts still might have a bit of work to make it fit, but overall, you can make it work naman.
Yeah, I believe the same thing, right? With the TM spec, I've put a maple leaf hop chamber in one of the Army Armament units. I have disassembled one. It looks relatively similar to TM, right? Or Tokimaru spec. And I believe you can just purchase the steel parts for a maybe 2,000 pesos for the whole set of those internals, and you'd make it a bomb-proof, quote and unquote, right? Of course, you'd still break it after some time, but a more reliable replica altogether. So, just to summarize, right? It's a licensed unit. It looks very cool. If you're really into John Wick, it's a very good replica to start with. Yeah. And again, Army Armament, fairly reliable replicas out of the box. You have that great magazine. Well, for us, it's great. It's cheap. You drop it, and you have that aluminum base pad. We haven't broken ours. I've dropped it several times. It flew out of my mag pouches. And the only real thing with the magazines with Army Armament is you might have some quality control issues. You might have a loose output valve or inlet valve here and there. But if you do tighten them up, you lube them well, right? And they're fairly reliable. Well, if you're comparing it to something like a TM magazine, which is twice its price for 2.5, I think it's 2,500 pesos here in the Philippines. But yeah, it's a fairly reliable mag, and it's a great magazine. I actually prefer these over WE mags, yeah. And yeah, so that's it for our review with this what's this?
Combat Master.
Combat Master, yeah, the Combat Master, right? So if you like this video, please like and subscribe and support us so we can keep bringing you these reviews. Thank you guys, and that's it for today.